everybody? I'm sorry I hadn't been on in a couple weeks. I've just been really busy. Is everybody good? I hope so. This quarantine's got everybody kind of messed up. But today I thought we would talk about, I told y'all earlier that I'm going to be going to Bobby Mackey's Music World as soon as quarantine's over and I know everything's safe for us to go. That's where we're going to be heading there. Bobby Mackey's Music World is the world's most haunted honky-tonk. My niece is going to be coming up and we're all heading out to Bobby Mackey's as soon as the quarantine's over. So I wanted to tell y'all a little bit about Bobby Mackey's, and I'm going to be live streaming on my TikTok, and I'm going to post a video on my YouTube. I'll hear any little chippering. I have baby ducks, and they're in a little container over here, and they're under a light. You know, they're growing. And if y'all hear dogs barking, they do that. Nothing I can do. Okay, let's get started. Bobby Mackey's is a honky-tonk and a bar and also a haunted tour. Bobby Mackey's was opened up in 1978, and it is one of the most haunted bars in America. It also goes by the name Hell's Gate. When Bobby Mackey first opened up, Bobby Mackey encountered a young boy, 18 years old, and his name was Carl. And he hired Carl, and Carl worked there for 30 years. Carl had to have 2 exorcists performed on him. He lived upstairs in a bar, and he went through a lot of trauma and experiences that about drove him crazy. But Carl has passed. He's no longer with us. They believe there has also been a lot of devil worshiping that happened at Bobby Mackey's. And as soon as you enter Bobby Mackey's bar, there is a huge sign that warns you against spirits and ghosts and that you may be harmed. One of the most famous murders that took place at Bobby Mackey's in 1896, her name was Pearl Bryant, was murdered and decapitated. They believe that Pearl Bryant's head was put in a well in the basement at Bobby Mackey's. Bobby Mackey's originally was a slaughterhouse. So there is a huge well. They believe that that's where Pearl Bryant's head was placed in the well. Her head was never found, and she was murdered by her boyfriend and his friend, and they believe that it was done as some kind of devil worshiping thing. And these 2 men's name was Alonzo Wallace and Scott Jackson. When they were found guilty of her murder, before they got hung, they swore that they would always haunt the property that Bobby Mackey's sat on. The encounter started at Bobby Mackey's when Bobby Mackey bought the bar. His wife, Janet, she was pregnant, and she was upstairs in the bar, and she heard a voice telling her to get out. And she was coming down the stairs, and she said she got pushed. And she never went back in the bar again for over 30 years. She would never step back in the bar. But Janet said that she wasn't only asked to leave, as she was actually forced to go down the stairs. And she seen a vision of a man, and later on, people had went to the library and got pictures of the people that had murdered Pearl, and she identified Alonzo Wallace as the being that forced her down the stairs. And that was when Bobby, to take notice that something was strange in the bar, that and Carl would come up and tell Bobby things that was going on, and Bobby would say, I don't want to hear that. This is a honky-tonk. I don't want to hear that. If you start telling people, people are not going to want to come to the bar. And Carl, the caretaker, he stated every morning at 6 o'clock, it sounded like an army that was going through the bar. He even got to where he locked himself in his room upstairs at the bar with a shotgun. He went through a lot of trauma. There is another ghost that haunts Bobby Mackey's, and her name is Johanna. Johanna was there before it was Bobby Mackey's. A couple different dance halls, and they ran illegal bootleg whiskey. It had ties with the mafia. Johanna was a performer, and her dad owned Bobby Mackey's before it was Bobby Mackey's. And she fell in love with a man that her dad did not approve of. They believed that her dad had this man killed, and then Johanna took her own life. Upstairs in the attic space where she would have got ready before she performed in her dressing room, on a door there is a poem that she wrote about her lover. She is to believed to haunt Bobby Mackey. She has been seen. It says she has black hair. She looks more Indianish. You know, she's black hair, dark eyes. But Bobby has wrote a song about Johanna. And he also wrote a song about Pearl. But I am so excited to go to Bobby Mackey's. I can't wait to see this place. It's in Wilder, Kentucky. And like I said, as soon as the quarantine's over and I feel safe, a couple of my family members, all of us are going to take a road trip. And we're going to go see this place. I can't wait to see it. But this is my story of Bobby Mackey's. And if y'all have never heard of this place before, check it out. I'm a big fan of Ghost Adventures, and they went to Bobby Mackey's, and they found a lot of interesting evidence. And I'm going to order one of those little recorders so I can pick up voices. And for many years, I have been haunted by spirits through the years. Not really haunted, but I think I can see things that maybe not everybody's in tune with, and it's nothing that I've asked for, but it just happens to me. Like in this house I live in now, there was 2 people that had passed away in this house. I don't feel scared in this house, but a couple weeks before all this with the quarantine happened, I was in the bathroom, and the light turned off, and then I went back over, and I just don't know how that light switch could have went down like that. It's real hard to flip. And then it happened again a couple weeks after that. So I grabbed my phone, and I was standing in the bathroom, and I was asking questions, and I got somebody that said my name and that they loved me, and I recognized the voice. It was a family member that had passed many years, and I couldn't believe I heard that. And then I called a couple of my family members and let them hear the recording. I did not tell them who I thought it was, and both people that I called said that it was who I thought it was, because that's who they heard. So through the years, I have seen and heard things that shouldn't be. Like when people passed, I've seen my grandfather. I've seen a couple more of my family members. I've seen my great grandma. Just weird things that's happened to me. But so that's why I'm wanting to go to Bobby Mackey's. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I hope y'all are keeping yourself busy through this quarantine. And I'll see y'all later, my little freak squad.